So, Guy, tell us what you got here.
70 diesel.
Did you look up the year?
Well, whatever the last year said 36,000 through something, or 34,000, and this is 36,921. So 56, I think it said.
Okay.
Yep.
So this tractor was a restoration project. A widow had hired a young man to help her go through things and clean things out. So he didn't know anything about tractors. He doesn't know what the parts are. And we contacted him probably 2 days ago. Now, all this stuff in the world is going on right now, and nobody's got enough nerve to buy anything or leave. And look at how nice this is. It's been all repainted, re-tagged. So new tires. Now the front tires, they hold air, but the sidewalls are real bad. I think they sat flat and dry rotted a little.
They're good. That valve stem was loose and it didn't have a cap, and it went flat. So there's right here.
Yeah.
There's lines in it, but they're decent.
Just from it sitting flat.
It probably sat flat for years. I don't know when the guy died, but it never even worked. They still got that stuff.
Yeah.
So
some little taggy stuff in the middle.
But yeah, new paint. It has a brand new battery.
It's absolutely beautiful.
And then it just sat inside, and nobody else knew anything about his stuff.
So this kid listed it for sale, and he's just, yeah, I'll pick through it. So my husband went to go take a look at it with the son, and the first thing you did was look at the fluids.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll show you. It had coolant leaking right out of here and here and running down here for so long that some chemical in the antifreeze messed up the paint. So the pony was full of coolant right up to here, totally full. So I figured it was either cracked or blown up, and the big motor was fine. The oil was a little over full, and I wondered if it was either diluted or had something in it, but it turns out I don't think they knew what they were doing at all. Anybody after the guy died didn't know anything, so that had too much oil in it. So we dumped because we didn't know anything about it, we dumped the oil in the filter and the timing gear case on the other side. I didn't know if it had ever sat outside. It didn't look like it. So I dumped the first reduction gear. It had no moisture in it. Then so we pull started it, and as soon as I let the decompression go, it was just running. The big motor runs perfect. And I think what's wrong is, I don't know if they were trying to start it with ether. The oil bath air cleaner cup is gone. We couldn't find it anywhere on their farm. I wonder if they didn't know what they were doing and tried to start it on ether because the gas tank's empty. And I think they blew up the pony, and I think it put a rod through the block, and it's broke so bad in like a water jacket that when the big motor starts, it's filling the crankcase all the way up with coolant from the big motor. And that's why, because as soon as I opened up this valve to drain the crank for the pony, everything quit leaking and it came out the bottom. So I think that this is destroyed I think they blew it up, didn't know what they were doing. I don't even know how they did. They had the battery in backwards. They had it on negative ground like a car. The battery was in. The only thing I did, when I got there, I turned the switch on and the pony light comes on red for no oil pressure. And I hit the button and nothing happened because I think it's just dead. New, but dead. So I didn't mess with it. We just winched it up and got it here, and that's the only thing I can figure.
And this is what you just drained out of the pony motor?
That is what I drained out of the big motor and the pony. Because see, when you drain the crank, fortunately, it goes right straight down through the crankcase. You have to get the old oil out of the pony out through. So first I dumped it, and as soon as I opened the valve up, I think whatever engine oil was in the pony crankcase is in the cooling system in the radiator, because it was totally green. There was no evidence of oil in this one. It was a little milky, but so anyway, let it drain for hours out the bottom, and I think as soon as I start it again, I think it's going to fill the pony with coolant, and I think that's what's wrong. So we'll probably be looking for
A new pony motor.
New pony motor, because I think they blew it up. So,
well, it's a real nice tractor. Trey loves front hitches, and he said, "Oh, look, it's got a front hitch. It's got a clevis on it." The guy threw in all kinds of parts, so we have some extra things that we might not need, but
yes, if anybody wants to buy those are what, 11.234, brand new.
Yep, we picked these tires up from him too. I ran them through with the power washer and got them all clean. And
11.2 and then /10. I guess years ago it would have been a 1034.
yeah.
So anyway, it's 11.2, 1034. Two of them. We got them.
Yep, and these are Titans.
And they had new rims for them.
Yeah, the tags were still on these rims. He's thinking that this inner rim disc might have supposed to been with this one also.
Yep. I think that I didn't understand. This isn't even attached in here. I don't know if you're supposed to weld them or what. This is off something else. It's obviously older and has a little bit different shade of paint. And I think I got to go back because this looks, you can tell where they slid it in on the new paint. So I don't know what the deal is with these. So
if you guys know, let me know down in the comments below,
the
because
other side, they're not riveted or welded or anything. He just got them sitting in there. So I think there was probably another one of these there.
Yeah.
And this is just slid in.
Oh, I see. There's holes for like bolts.
Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is. Why you'd buy them this way? So he obviously had this. So there's probably another one of them sitting in the barn, and then he bought two of these that are identical.
Never even bothered. They weren't put on or anything.
It looks like by the tag. This is going to be, this is a 10-inch rim by 34, and that's exactly what those tires are. So I think the old guy was going to put this stuff together for something else.
Those look a lot narrower than that.
Yeah. They might have sat flat on a floor for a long time, and then that makes them go like this.
I see.
But, so.
Well, I scrubbed them, and I had soapy water, and it just wasn't coming up. So Trey suggested the power washer, so we did that. But this is just clean. It's so clean and nice. We're not used to painted tractors, and I would guess this has got a better paint job than the other 70. And it's rare, too, when you find a used tractor to find the clamshell fenders on or intact, because a lot of times people take them off because your step, it's in your way of getting up. Now, it doesn't have a 3-point, but we have a 3-point for it.
We just found a 3-point, and we went and got it, a complete one.
3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's real pretty. I'm glad you decided to go ahead and look at it. He had been looking at another tractor that was for sale in Wisconsin, and he kind of thought better of it because it was going to be 6 hours there and 6 hours back. You know, you figure in a good hour of refueling, resting, and dealing with a person. So he didn't do it. This guy was real easy to deal with, and we got some other parts that were just green and yellow packages, so he just handed them to him. I was just looking through things, and there was some parts for a 50, and we don't have a 50, so if you need something like that, I'm going to have it extra. It turns out I pull started him with the truck because the big engine won't start on its own with a pony motor like that, and it started, what would you say, 20 feet?
No, I had the decompression pulled back, and I was getting the motor to crank to make sure that nothing, I was listening to it turn because I had no idea what we were getting. So I let the big engine turn over for a few feet, and then as soon as I let the decompression, it was just awesome. But check out the fuel here. I cleaned this out and totally, that was like brand new. It's black.
Yeah, that's supposed to be red.
So I left the valve open, cracked the filters. I'm sure the filters are black. Luckily we had 2 left. So there was this much fuel in the tank anyway. So I just let it drain through the bowl, out the filter, and I'm just going to start over because it's horrible. It's like 30-year-old, it smells. So I don't think it's been used much for a long time.
So do you want to tell all of our friends on YouTube what you paid for your new tractor?
$1,000. Well.
Do you hear my chuckling and giggling?
It's destroyed.
The guy thought it was totally a parts tractor, and we didn't know any better either. Well, we have been doing a lot of work on the engines on our tractors, and we're kind of thinking that the one tractor we have might need to have some machining work done or have a new head for it. So we started looking for parts tractors. There's no way that this is going to be a parts tractor.
No, but see, when I bought it, I thought maybe this had froze and cracked. And if this is frozen cracked, I mean, both of them would be. I had no idea what was going on because there was coolant everywhere. So
yeah, I
never tried to start it. We didn't try to pull start it there. I just hoisted it on the trailer and figured it was parts. And then when we tried to I couldn't believe it. This is perfect. So
we must have done something right somewhere because we were sent this huge gift.
The gears are all 6 gears are quiet. The hydraulic works. The clutch acts like brand new. It's soft and smooth and strong. Everything here.
The funny thing is I found a 2240 diesel. No, a 2010 diesel for sale, and it was in Michigan. I contacted the person and it was already sold. And that was during the process of him contacting this guy independently. And then I found a 2010 gas in Ohio. And I just kept thinking, you know, maybe it's a little too big. I think something in the universe is telling me that I'm supposed to have a big tractor, not a little tractor, because that's all we end up finding.
Well, they made so many.
Well, it's like I can't find a running little Ford tractor to save my life. They're all
Is that fuel making you
broken.
sick? That's making my stomach sick.
Is that?
That's rancid.
Well, that's...
Look at that. Check that out.
Well, I'm not standing right on top of it either. Yeah, that's black. And this is like gross. Yellow.
That was rancid. That came out of the first reduction gear cover, and I just assumed some moisture was going to come out. It was actually totally dry, but that smelled bad. The muffler is wrong. See, it's got the little... Yeah. It's got the dent for this on the little old A's or B's or something. And see how this is not big enough for a 70. Right. So that's wrong. When it ran, it sounded a little soft, and I could hear it right here. So we'll switch that out right away because that's not enough.
Well, and like you said, if he's got all these B parts, he might have had a B muffler sitting there.
The typical one you order.
So, and you said all 70s have a high-speed transmission?
All 70s are quite fast. Okay. They really move.
So this is a little bit different shifter than the other one.
You've got 3 gears in the main part, and then a high and low is what this is. Okay. And they're all the same. It's like a Jeep.
Did you check the gauges when you were running it?
I don't think the tack worked. Okay. But the only thing I was watching was this. We didn't run it long enough for this to move, and this was absolutely pegged all the way over the oil. Yeah. And I didn't check to see if it was... I don't think it would have charged right. They had the battery in it backwards, so... But the hydraulics work. So. Well... When you have no idea what you're getting, and you think you're buying a parts tractor, they got to be cheap because... Yeah. Nobody there knew anything about it. The guy died. And something was obviously very bad. Well,
the body parts are worth what... You know, but he didn't want to...
I'm not going to take it apart. I'm going to... Yeah. So now, we've always looked for a spare pony, and they're always a lot of money. We've never picked one up, so now we have to.
How much was that 70 hood that we saw for sale recently?
I don't remember, but... Or, I don't think a head gasket should cause that much of a problem to have the, see, because the water pump is down here for the big motor,
Right.
and it supplies coolant. I don't, a bad head gasket.
So is this your compression pedal that's normally down lower on the other one?
No, that's a foot pedal to start the pony motor.
Yeah.
And the way it says here, they have one control handle for your pony.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is you'll watch over there's a rod that runs your decompression. It pulls on your cam followers. So when you pull that, see that's, when you pull it back that way, you're on decompression. And then when you pull it back all the way, it engages the pony transmission to your flywheel. So you get everything cranking, and then when you let it back, see how this rod stays?
Mm-hmm.
You end up giving the engine compression, and then you kick the, when it fires, you kick it, you'll watch this will snap back.
Mm-hmm.
Then you disengage your transmission. It's hard to run these if you've not been around them your whole life. I think that's probably why they ended up going to 2 levers where you can just take your hands and on an angle like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Decompression, and then your this is your decompression, the outside one's the transmission, and that's a lot better.
So that's probably why they had the flywheel cover off.
No, I think they're trying to figure out what was wrong with the pony.
Right. Because it's all related.
I think they obviously knew something wasn't right,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't know anything about them. So they had this off, and that didn't do it. They thought something was locked up in here, something, the transmission was bad. They had no clue. They basically knew it had a pony motor that was supposed to start the other one, and that was about it. So.
And it did come with a seat. That's the seat over there. He's always taking seats off and putting them inside.
For now, I need another one of them.
No, it's got it in it.
Does it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, it's pretty worn. So.
Well, it's pretty. It's still too big for me, and because it's a pony motor, I still can't run it very good.
We got the original cylinder for it too.
Yep. The lights on it are all crystal clear and nice. I'm guessing they probably replaced them because you got one light in the back of the truck, right?
They gave me a light that's like the light that goes back. Oh, it has one.
That's why I was saying.
Yeah,
I think
I don't. Well, we have an extra then.
they must have swapped a few of them out. Looks like they all match. Well, somebody put a huge labor of love into restoring this, and it is going to be well loved here. So that's it for today, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.